So welcome everyone. I'm Chad Carson from CoachCarson.com. I'm here with a friend of mine, a fellow blogger, real estate investor named Seth Williams. So welcome Seth, and I'm going to interview Seth a little bit. I'm going to ask him some questions, introduce you to what Seth is all about. So Seth, just to start off, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your, a minute or two version of your real estate story, how you got into real estate investing, why you got into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like a lot of people, I first got interested in real estate after reading some books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, books like that. And I tried my hand at flipping houses and trying to find properties to rent. And I found it really extraordinarily challenging. I couldn't find good deals on MLS. At the time, it was like 2006. It was just very, very hard to find cash flowing deals.
Yeah.
And I eventually learned about ways that I can contact motivated sellers through direct mail. And I started focusing specifically on vacant land properties. So vacant land has kind of been the main thing I've pursued over the past several years, about 10 years now, and rental properties as well. And I sort of use land as the avenue for making the big paychecks that can then go and buy the rental properties. Land has just been a really good niche for me to work in, and it's been really profitable and just a much simpler type of property than a lot of the other hassles that come with houses and that kind of thing.
I found it so interesting when I first found your niche and what you do, because you hear sort of myths in different businesses, and one of the myths in real estate is like, oh man, if you buy land, it doesn't produce income or it doesn't have a house on it. There's sort of like people shy away from it a little bit. You kind of taken the opposite approach. You said, no, I'm going to actually go buy land. Was there any kind of trepidation at first, or was it just like I found some deals and I went with it?
Yeah, for me, the reason it made sense is because I'm able to buy, vacant lots for very, very, very cheap.
Yeah.
Usually around 10% or so of its actual market value.
Wow. Okay.
And the reason that made sense to me is because, it would sort of work the same with any asset, whether you're talking about gold or cars or house, whatever you want. It just, as long as you can buy something for pennies on the dollar, you set yourself up in a way that the cards have really nowhere to fall but in your favor. It's just it's a very compelling idea that you can get something for so cheap and have a lot of built-in equity that just makes it really, really hard to lose.
Right. So it sounds like you're buying the old buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
That's your business model. Yep. You've just chosen a different way. People buying houses, people buying selling stocks. You're buying land.
Yep.
You're buying it cheap. You're selling it high.
Yep. Yeah, and it's really the key to the whole business model is being able to buy properties cheap enough. Like, if you can't do that, nothing else works.
Right.
And the nice thing about that is, because I'm buying something way, way undervalued, I don't have to do anything to it. I literally just put it on the market and sell it as is. And in most cases, I don't even see the property.
Right.
And that compared to a lot of the hassles that come with other types of properties was really refreshing to me. And I think there's awesome opportunities with houses as well. I just sort of lacked the expertise and the coordination to get everybody to do what I wanted to with all taking loans out and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It just wasn't something I wanted to sign up for. So,
Well, one thing that's impressed me, because you said buy low is the most important thing, and I think a lot of people realize that, but I think they would have a hard time. I've been so impressed by your talking to sellers directly and actually having conversations or emails with people. And so can you talk a little bit about how, if somebody's thinking, why would somebody sell a property for less than value, whether it's 70%, 50%, or 10%? Are there people out there who do that, and are you having to trick them? What's the deal there?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think yes, there are plenty of people who do it, and you kind of have to understand how these types of sellers think. They don't think like you and me, where when we sell a property, we want to get a good value, sell it at a fair sales price. What I'm looking for is that small segment of society who they just don't care. Like, they've owned this property for a long time. It's a nuisance in their life. It's not something they use or want. They don't really care about getting lots of money. They just want it out of their lives. That's the kind of person I'm looking for, and I won't say there's lots of those types of people out there, but with a tool like direct mail, you can contact people en masse and find them out there.
Right.
And it's just a really good way to look where nobody else is looking, because these types of properties are not the kinds where they're going to have a for sale sign in the front yard.
Right.
These are the people where, if I don't contact them and seek them out, the deal will never be done.
Right.
So,
So I think people can find out more details on your website about how you're doing direct mail. There's so many good articles on that. But I'd like to ask, just kind of as we're getting ready to close, big picture wise. So somebody is thinking about getting started in real estate investing. They're working a job. I mean, how do you even begin to approach this whole process of saying, I'm going to get started in real estate? Whether it's your niche, you're investing in land, what are some of the first things you think about if you're just getting started?
Yeah. Well, I would say, like, whichever type of niche you want to pursue, sort of decide on that and get educated about what it is you're trying to do and have a game plan.
Yeah.
Like, don't just go willy-nilly, send a direct mail out without really understanding who you're trying to contact, what kind of property you're trying to buy, what your whole game plan is.
Right.
Once you have a plan and you go into it that way, it makes it much easier for you to be confident about what you're doing. So I would say, just figure out which niche you want to target. It doesn't have to be land, it could be anything, but whatever that is, just be smart about how you're pursuing that. And I think there's always going to be a little bit of fear when you get started because you don't really know what you're doing. It's all sort of based on theory, but
right.
The biggest lessons happen when you start taking action and you start figuring out, okay, this worked, this didn't work, and at that point you can tweak and refine your approach. So
good tips. Very good. All right, so if people wanted to find out more about you, if they want to stay in touch with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, my website is retipster.com. We've got a contact page there. We've got lots of blog posts and videos, and I'd love to see it.
You'll learn a lot. I'm a fan of Seth's site. I check out his stuff, and I found that the direct mail and the specific articles, you're going to get these meaty articles. I love that. I mean, this isn't fluff. So come visit Seth, and thank you all for being here with the interview with us, and we'll see you on the next video.
Thanks.
All right. Bye, Seth.
Yeah.